Today we're talking about social proof, why it's so important. I feel like we do a lot on social media. We're talking about using not only reviews, but also stories and local data to win confidence. So much of what we do, at least locally, if you guys are ever here, we run role play days that are live, and we teach people how to convert and how to overcome conversation stoppers and how to ask open-ended questions and how to do the things to keep people on the phone, which all of us as realtors need to know. But a lot of times we skip the little things that build confidence. What kind of reviews do we have that our clients can share, that we can share? What kind of local data do we know? What about past stories of people that we've dealt with and how we've helped them move through the process? So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about building trust without bragging, how to use social proof to strategically add value to your clients so that they can start to see, hey, this is somebody that I can actually trust. We're going to talk about how to integrate it naturally into conversations. Are you weaving your reviews into conversation? What about your stories? What about data? These are really big things that if we can work them into our conversation, some of you may do really good at getting reviews for your clients, but then what do you do with them? Do they just kind of sit on Google and you don't actually show it to people that you're, currently working with? Or are you just putting reviews out so people find you? Or are you actually sharing those reviews? And then we're going to talk about positioning yourself as the obvious choice, using that proof to differentiate yourself from all of these other realtors that are out there. Because the reality is, depending on what market you're likely competing with thousands and thousands of other realtors to try to get that building, to get that client. So credibility borrowed beats credibility claimed. So how are we doing that? So why social proof works. This is a psychological tool, right? This isn't just pitching. This isn't just sales. This is making sure people understand why they can trust us, right? The client needs to know that we'll protect their interests, that we'll communicate honestly, and that we'll deliver on the promises that we've made them. Have you done this before? What do people want to see? They want to see that likely they're not your first client. So that's where these stories and reviews work, because they want evidence that you've been able to get people through these processes time and time again. And then finally, will this work for someone like me? Clients seek confirmation that what you're going to do with how you're going to do it, that it's going to fit and align with their actual circumstances. So question for you, where do your clients look for reassurance before choosing you? I'll ask that. Where are your clients right now? Are they looking for? Are they just depending on you? Or do you have somewhere where your clients actually go to for reassurance before they hire you?
They just probably go to Google and ChatGPT and social media and just kind of generalize like that. I don't know if I'm maybe overthinking it.
I mean, that's 3 good answers, Cherie. I mean, the reality is how many people are going to ChatGPT now and saying, what can you tell me about Claudia Nelson? That is a viable thing that people are doing now. We'll talk about that actually a little bit in a second. Google as well. If they Google, Kim Phelps, does she pop up on Google? Does she have a Google business page? What's on the page? Are there reviews on the page? Is there data on the page, right? Or again, maybe it's someone you've talked to. Do you have something that you can show them? If you sent them to your social media, your Instagram, would they be impressed? Or would they say, man, I don't really know if this person is the person? So again, keep that in mind. Where are your clients looking for reassurance other than you just telling them? So one of those things, 3 types of social proof every agent needs, right? Not all social proof is created equal. Each type is unique. So Cherie, you actually mentioned a decent amount of stuff, but one, client proof. Here's our actual reviews, right? Direct validations from other people that have said, hey, I've used Jared as a realtor. This is why you should use him, right? That demonstrates that there's actually real people out there that have used you. Maybe you've gone out to your Google business page and you've asked all your friends to leave you a review and your mom to leave you a review and your sister to leave you a review. Are they just 5-star blank reviews? Or is it actual real people that have used you in the business where people can read and see, oh, wow, there's a lot of people that are like me here. Second is situational proof, stories. This is one thing I think a lot of people miss when they're so deep into the script game and they're so deep into just asking the questions and moving the thing along. is stories of similar buyers and sellers that you've helped. So are we weaving those in? We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then authority proof. Are you a local market data expert? How much expertise do you have on market data? How much expertise do you have on what's selling? Khalid, is there a Davis Team Google page? Khalid, great question, buddy. There was, and then Google banned me. And it's one of the things that I am trying to fix right this second. I've been trying to fix it forever, but after going to San Antonio, it was one of the things that they were like, dude, if you guys don't have this, you're really jacking up, right? I'm trying to figure out where to weave in some of these notes before I get there. We'll kind of weave it in here as we talk about this, Khalid, because we're going to talk about Google. So using reviews without sounding arrogant. This is the way you present client reviews makes all the difference between building credibility and appearing self-promotional. So instead of just saying, hey, I've got great reviews, 5 stars everywhere, check me out, I'm the best there is, try something a little different, right? A lot of my clients mention communication and calm guidance, especially in competitive markets, right? What are the reviews saying? Can you share them, right? That shift makes it shift to like, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm helping people at, versus just saying, hey, look at how great I am online. And so check this out. If you're getting reviews, Khalid, you mentioned Google business page, but think about this. Are you using them in listing presentations and buyer consultations? If you've gotten reviews, there's no reason you can't just copy that review off of Zillow or Google or wherever it is and paste it into your actual presentation so that people can see when you leave that listing thing, or maybe it's a pre-listing presentation. How many of you guys send something before you go to the listing presentation to say, hey, I'm going to send you some information over about us just so you can check it out, right? We've got a 20-page seller guide that we can send every single person. It has our stats, it has what we sell, it has our years of experience, it has some of our marketing in it, and then those reviews can be there. Another place, follow-up emails and text messages. Hey, I noticed that you were looking to buy in Midlothian. Here's a couple reviews of some people that just bought over in that area you were looking at. Social media posts and content. Do you put them up on Facebook and Instagram, right? I see a lot of realtors that'll do that. They will just screenshot the review, or they'll copy and paste it, and they'll show just, hey, thanks, got to help this person. You could throw them in on your stories if you didn't want it to be a static post. Maybe that's not your content on Instagram, and you think, hey, if I just put this review as a picture, it's not really good content. That's okay. You can do it as a story. Imagine if you just put a new 5-star review up every single week in your story, and every single person that's following you is like, man, this person is obviously selling a lot of houses. Look at all these reviews. Google is still the first stop for people, everybody. Are we seeing a drop in Googling because of LLMs, right? Your ChatGPTs, your Geminis, your Claudes, your Groks? Sure, a lot of people are moving over to these AI-based chats to start asking questions, but have you all stopped using Google? Of course not. You guys are still Googling stuff every day. So keep in mind, Google is still the first stop. And one thing that we talked about on this, and this can follow into areas and expertise, people will choose an area before they choose an agent. So think about that when you're creating your market stats, when you're creating your reviews, when you're creating your content. Are you making yourself out to be the area expert? Because most of the time people start to nail down where they want to be, what schools they want to be in. So what are you doing to do that? Social media is now the new open house. People go to social media and they browse houses and they browse different things to be able to see what's in the area. It's not to say you shouldn't be doing open houses still, but are you showing off stuff on your social media to show again that you are the expert? ChatGPT also searches Google and reviews primarily in the algorithm. Yeah, I was going to bring that out. So it won't actually pull content from reviews, but it will pull the actual ratings from reviews. So that's when you start getting into making sure that you're doing what you need to do on all of your reviews and social media so that ChatGPT can find you. We talked about this at an event we spoke about on AI last week. There are 3 different audits you can do. You can do a person audit, which is a NAP audit, name, address, email, essentially. And you can say, hey, find everything on me, and it will run that for you. You can also do that on your clients within Grok, and Grok will search for Twitter profiles because Grok is owned by X, and it will actually pull data on your clients if you got people that you meet with. So that's just a little side piece for people that are using different language models. So you have your NAP audit, you have an SEO audit, right? How does my search engine optimization link up? And then you have what's called the AEO audit, your actual LLM model. What was the platform? Grok, Grok is the one that Tesla owns, that Elon Musk owns. So that will actually search if people have X profiles, whereas the other one ones do not do that. You will not, like Google will not pull actual Google profile stuff beyond review numbers, and Meta will not pull Facebook profiles. So again, it's nice to know what you should be using. Again, we're kind of getting into the AI thing, but AI has really become like a discovery channel. Property analysis, rental property evaluation, real estate market focus. So the more you can create your content around this stuff, the more it can start finding you. One thing he brought out was Google has what he called EEAT, and that's experience, expertise, authoritiveness, and trustworthiness. Those are the 4 things that Google is looking for when it's trying to recommend you in Google and it's looking to recommend you in Maps. So that is, can they see your experience in the business? How long have you been there? Can they see your expertise, right? What are your reviews saying? Can they see your authoritiveness? And can they see that you're trustworthy? When you're using Maps, this is going to tangent off a little bit when we're talking about reviews. If you guys are agents that are on a team, your team should have a review page, but you guys should also have a personal page, because the reality is, let's be real, as much as we want you to stay on our teams forever, there may be a time when you want to leave the team and go solo, or maybe you move, or maybe you start a team. And so to have that data built up for yourself is great. But the reality is, like Tyler Davis, you've got your camera on, so I'll use you an example. Tyler Davis is one of the top agents that are on my team. But the reality is, when someone goes to look for Tyler Davis's authority and credibility and everything else, I don't want him to say like, oh, well, you have to just search the Davis group and find all the reviews on the Davis group. Now, when he says I'm Tyler Davis with the Davis group and someone does the Davis group, I want us to pop up and see his face in our team photos and see all our good reviews. But when someone says I'm gonna search for Tyler Davis, I still want him to pop up, and I still want him to have reviews, and him to have authority, and him to have trustworthiness, and him to have expertise, right? So all of you guys should have some kind of Google business page. And then again, you should be updating content on it pretty regularly. You should be putting new pictures up. You can put products up, so you can actually put your listings on it. But if you want people to find you within Google Maps, you have to actually put some work into your Google business profile. And then as we start creating content, keep in mind, it takes roughly 6 months to get traction from content. The algorithm is going to take time. So you have to be, and one of the things he talked about was you have to be in every single channel. Sometimes we've had social classes and we're like, hey, we'll just try to pick one. How many times do we hear that? I mean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, because if you're not doing any, then that's fine. Galen said post multiple times a week, they say, for, yeah, 100%. So if you guys follow me on any social media, you see I have a post every single day that goes out on YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok Reels, Stories, YouTube Long once a week, and Facebook. So it's going out on every single thing, every single day, because I'm looking to build that traction, to build that visibility. So keep that stuff in mind when you're talking about reviews. Are you getting them? Are you asking your clients for them after every close? And then are you putting them in places where people can see them? Are they on your website? Are they on your pre-listing packages and marketing materials? So just keep that in mind. Story-based proof. This is something that I work into every single client I have ever, and that is stories from previous deals. You're not bragging about them. You're literally saying, hey, this just happened to me. I think about this so much. This is why I think scripting is great and all, and you have to be able to ask the right questions, but story-based proof is not scripted. Story-based proof is you were sitting in an appointment, and every single appointment you were thinking of, man, is there something that I've had happen that is like this situation that I can share with this person to show that we are right for the job? Tyler has a 500-acre subdivision under contract right now for $3.5 million. But in going out and calling landowners, I had a $3.8 million contract out that we just closed on with Main Street Homes. So when we're calling land, what do you think we're telling those landowners? Hey, FYI, we just got $3.8 million for a homeowner in Chesterfield for a house that we sold to them 5 years prior for $600,000. They just netted $3.2 million on the house they lived in. Oh, by the way, 500 acres in Powhatan, we got that under $3.5 million right this second. Oh, and we're working on a $2 million contract in Prince George right this second on 28 acres. What do you think that does for the seller that you're talking to? It makes people realize, oh wait, Tyler's not just some, whatever off the street trying to steal my land, or that doesn't know what he's doing. He has viable clients that want to buy this land. He has experience in selling land. Oh wow, he's got multiple deals going on right now. He must be very successful. It's not a brag, it's mini storytelling. That's just one example I can think of. This is something that y'all should really think about. If it's not something that you're doing on a regular basis, when you share a brief, relevant story about a past client, you're not just demonstrating expertise, you're showing empathy and understanding. The best social proof stories are short, specific, and directly relevant to the client's current situation. You see the directly relevant? See, if I went on a listing presentation in Wyndham to sell a guy's house and I start telling him about all my land deals, that's not very relevant. That wouldn't make sense. He's just gonna be like, why is this guy talking about multi-million-dollar land deals right now? I'm trying to sell this house in Wyndham. So keep that in mind. So establish a similar situation. You know, I actually worked with a seller nearby that felt the same way about pricing. We ever use something like that with story-based selling? How many times do we go on the listing appointment and the person's like, well, I think I would rather list high and then we can adjust down as needed. You hear people say that every single time you're on a listing appointment. So rather than just say, hey, Kirsten, you know what? That sounds great, except you're just really wrong. That's never going to happen how you want it to happen, right? Hey, Kirsten, I actually had a seller just recently that thought something really similar. We listed her house at 620. I had told her 600. It actually ended up sitting on the market for 4 weeks. By the time we dropped it to 6, we ended up having to take 580 to get it sold, and we gave them some closing costs. Now, would you rather list a little bit more in line with comps and likely get a bidding war going? Or do you want to still try that strategy and possibly end up selling for under the comp amount? You see how I just wove a story? It's not even a real story, by the way. You just wove a story into this objection. See, what did you do though? You said, I'm the expert, and I actually just had somebody that tried to do it your way and it didn't work. The action, describe what you did. Once we adjusted pricing and focused on prefs, things shifted quickly. See, yeah, once we dropped it down, then we got it sold. But unfortunately, what was the result? Well, the result is that we ended up selling it for less than what it needed to go for originally. So how do you prep that in each time? Then you go the other way. You know, actually, meanwhile, we had another person in the same neighborhood that we listed at 590, even though the comp was a little, higher than that, but they just wanted to make sure we could move it quick. We had 4 offers. They ended up going for 615 when it was said and done. They were so happy. You see how you work these stories in? And again, it shows that you're an expert because you've dealt with it. It works because it feels conversational, right? It flows naturally in the dialogue. We're not scripting. Remember, we're having a natural conversation. It shows our experience without flexing. You don't have to say, oh, you're just wrong about this, right? No, you're trying to show your experience. This is why you should listen to me. It's going to build emotional connection, because then what does the client see? They start thinking about their own example, their own house. They start putting themselves into the outcome, whether it's negative or positive. So you're either giving them fear of the thing that you're trying to get them to avoid, or you're getting them to think, okay, this is the way that I should be running on this. And then it demonstrates problem solving. It shows that you've been through it before and you've gotten these people through it. Thank you so much for tuning in to one of our weekly training calls. Obviously, you caught the recorded session, but if you're interested in catching any of our live sessions that we do them typically on Mondays. I'm going to put the link below. So if you want to join any of our trainings live so that you can participate, so you can comment, ask questions, feel free to come. This is for our EXP group that we have here, our Omega group of agents, but it's open to anybody that wants to join, really. So if you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for training, feel free to hit that link below, and we'll see you on one of our live calls.